Both the Cubs and Mets lose on Friday night. Are these teams in trouble? We'll talk about that and more on this episode of MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to MLB Game Night, where we cover every single game, every single night, as only the Locked On Podcast Network can do it. I'm your host, Lindsey Crosby, host of the Locked On Braves postcast over on Locked On Sports Atlanta. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. Handsome fellow over there, Steve Lennox, host of the Locked On Red Sox postcast. Follow him on the X at Lennox on Baseball. Steve, a lot of stuff I want to get to today. The Mariners rallied late. Cal Raleigh did it again. Connor Wong finally delivered in the clutch. And Clayton Kershaw outdueled Max Scherzer in a rematch from, 17 years ago? But before we do that, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. All right, I want to start this. We're going to look at Mets Brewers, and then we're going to look at Cubs Cardinals. And I want to have a larger discussion about those two teams that lost. The first game, obviously, Mets in Milwaukee for the Brewers. Brewers use a 3-run fifth inning to hold off the Mets here. I've got Chuck Freeman from Locked On Brewers. I want to hear from him about what happened in this one, and then we'll get to the Mets side.
Baseball gods are on the Brewers side. There's no question. But you know what? The Brewers have worked for all these victories. And good things happen to good baseball teams. And there's a reason why the Brewers are the best team in baseball. Because they win games like they did on Friday night. Hey, everybody. Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. First of all, Blake Perkins throws out the potential tying run at the plate to finish off that game in the top of the ninth inning. But you go back to the fifth. The Brewers are down 2-0. What happens? They score 3 runs on just one hit, a game-tying home run by Bryce Terang. And the Mets, they got all this talent. They got all this million-dollar talent. They're walking guys. There's catcher's interference. There are errors. They're doing stupid things. And again, the Brewers, that's a classic example. They take advantage of teams like that. They do. And the Brewers were able to mount up the 3 runs in that inning, in the 5th inning, take the lead, and the bullpen closes the door. Oh, by the way, Brandon Woodruff, 7 strong innings. He was fantastic once again. Fantastic once again. And we should expect nothing less because the starting rotation with the Brewers, this is what they do. Brewers win another game. We'll see you on Sunday night with the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
To Chuck's point, runner reaches via a Senga error in the inning. Which, again, this should count as an earned run on Kodai Senga. The home run's a 2-run homer. And then the third run, a walk, a catcher's interference, another walk, and then Senga's replacement hits a batter and brings in a run. So one hit in the inning, they score 3 runs. This game ended wild too, but before we get into this game, though, let's hear from Chris Schubert from the Mets postcast. Tell me if you identify the emotion that he's feeling in this game.
Yes, the Mets had a chance in the 9th inning to tie things up. Yes, Carlos Mendoza made a blunder, not having Tyrone Taylor pinch run for Starling Marte after he had a 2-out double. But yet again, just like Groundhog's Day, we're talking about the New York Mets offense because for large stretches of this game, Jeff McNeil hit a single in the 4th, nothing in the 5th, nothing in the 6th, nothing in the 7th, nothing in the 8th. First 2 outs of the 9th, not a whole lot of anything. The New York Mets offense for large stretches of games is going missing. Juan Soto and Starling Marte both hit home runs in this game, but everybody else, a whole lot of nothing. Lindor is going through it yet again. Brandon Nimmo has been going through it for about 3 weeks now. He has just looked very lost at the plate since about a little bit after the All-Star break, not being able to catch up the fastball, struggling with off-speed stuff. Just looks like he could use a day off. The Mets got out to a 2-0 lead in this game. Kodai Senga looked good through the first 4, but a 5th inning meltdown started with an error on the mound, led to another Mets loss. Their 5th one in a row. They have now lost 9 of 10 it feels futile to even look at the scoreboard and see what Philadelphia is doing because nothing matters unless the Mets get things back on track. And it all is going to start with the bats.
I mean, he's right. He's 100% right. And the way this game ended, he mentioned Tyrone Taylor not pinch running for Starling Marte. Marte gets gunned down at home plate in the ninth to end the game. If you have Tyrone Taylor in there, he scores, you're tied. You probably go to extras. So just a comedy of errors for literally errors for the Mets tonight.
And hearing Lindsay from our two guys, Chuck and Chris there, it's the tale of two teams. Sometimes you make your own luck. Everything going the Brewers' way right now, and the Mets are stuck in a hole. And I don't know that they get out of it because you need, and Senga didn't give it to him because he got chased in the fifth inning. You've got Holmes, who seems to be tiring. He's going 4. He's going 5 innings. He's not going to work into the 6 or 7.
He's the converted reliever thing. He's going to cap out at like 130 or so innings.
Yep. Yeah. So, Montas, I think they rushed him back, and you've got Manaea, another guy coming off an injury as well. So it starts with the starting pitching. I mean, the bullpen got the job done tonight, but they're going to have to outslug some teams. And as Lindor, Nimmo, we just heard it. Those guys, I mean, Lindor he's gone into some deep funks this year, and it seems like he's starring. Yeah, not at all. I mean, Soto hits a home run, but he gets his. The Mets don't get theirs.
Okay, so Saturday's matchup, Mets haven't announced the starter yet as of time of recording. Tobias Myers is taking the mound for the Brewers. I want to get Cubs-Cardinals in here real quick so we can do a bigger conversation about these two teams. Here's Sam Olber to break down the 5-0 loss his Cubs faced to the Cardinals.
I always try and read the comments, the day after an episode, and a lot of them lately have been like, "Hey, you got to be more positive. They're still in a good place, and they're still having a good season." The people that say that, you guys you're just better than me. I give you credit. I don't know how you could put a positive spin on this brand of baseball right now. Watching the game on Friday night, it was like getting a root canal. I mean, it's. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast. The score right now is 5-0 St. Louis in the ninth. Maybe the Cubs will add on an unimportant run, but what does it matter? It's the same story. None of the main guys are hitting. McGreevy for St. Louis, no disrespect to him. The Cubs should have been able to do some damage against him tonight. They didn't. They didn't even come that close. They were awful defensively, threw the ball around. Boyd battled. It's just, I don't know what else to say. It's the same story. Bush, Seiya, Tucker, Pete, not hitting at the same time. They need a lift. They need a spark. They need a jolt. They got to do something differently. They're just in this rut. They're now 5 games back in the division, and it seems like the wild card is the end game here, and all you could do is hope. That's what this front office is doing. It's just hope that they get hot at the right time and turn it around. They have plenty of time to do so. That's the positive spin. But right now, man, this is really tough to watch.
Okay, so 63-53 is the Mets. 66-49 are the Cubs. Who should we be more like? If you had to pick one of these two teams right now to not make the postseason, who were you picking?
Well, I think the Mets, because Sam said, the Cubs right now 5 behind in the division, looking up at the Milwaukee Brewers, but they're comfortable to a certain degree right now because they've got the top wild card spot. Now that could change in a week or two, and the Mets have been up and down. We've seen them exchange first place with the Phillies numerous times this year. Right now, the Phillies have a little breathing room in the division. But we said the other day, Cubs, Padres, Mets. You really do anticipate those 3 teams being the wild card teams in the National League. Just don't know the order right now. Because, again, I have a hard time believing that the Reds or Giants or even the Cardinals, right, and, they're all over 500, so I give them a fighter's chance. But I don't know any of those 3 teams that can catch the Cubs, Padres, and Mets. Yeah. And they shouldn't because of all the talent that they have. And the Padres and the Mets both added at the deadline.
True. The Mets, 9th hardest remaining schedule in baseball. The Cubs, 28th.
Okay.
So you got to hope that, the Cubs get the Braves for 6, the Pirates for 6. They get the Rockies for 3, the Nationals for 3. The Mets have to face Philly for 7. They've got Detroit, San Diego, Seattle, and the rest of the series with Milwaukee. So there you go. Okay, Astros at Yankees. Talk about a team who's struggling. Yankees lose this one 5-3. Astros scored 3 runs in the 10th here. Jay Berman from the Yankees postcast, our friend, has a lot of thoughts here. We have a little bit of time for brief discussion when he gets done about what happened to them in this one.
Once again, Aaron Boone decided to go to Devin Williams in a high leverage spot, and once again, it burned the Yankees. Yanks and Astros tied at 2 in the 10th. Williams gives up 3 runs in the top. Yanks can't come back. Again, they lose 5-3. Jose Altuve again victimizing the Yankees on the 5th pitch of the game off Cam Schlittler, a 2-run shot for Altuve. Now, Yanks would tie it at 2. It would remain 2-2 into the 10th when Williams obviously collapsed. The Yankees are now just a half game up on the Cleveland Guardians for the last wild card spot in the American League, and forget the division. Yanks now 7 games back. But again, 5-3 the final score as the Yanks lead the Guardians by just a half game.
You talk about a team that's going through it right now that might not recover either. It feels like the Yankees are there.
And this isn't a week. This isn't 10 days. This is
2 months.
Extended. Yeah, this is a lengthy period of time for this team. I still don't know that Judge is back 100%. He's going to be in the lineup. Where's Stanton going to be? Luis Gil's coming back. But wow, I mean, Jay said it. I mean, the Guardians right now are a half game out, and Stephen Vogt, I trust right now somehow, some way, with the team that they're putting out there every day.
Yeah, just bad situation. Fun pitching matchups in the rest of the series. So Luis Gil versus Framber Valdez on Saturday, Max Fried and Colton Gordon on Sunday.
And did you see Devin Williams? His quote after the game was, "It's pretty simple. I stink right now."
Buddy, that's not a great place to be going to the free agency.
No, it's not. It's not a nice place to be when you're pitching for the team in the Bronx either.
No, I mean, okay. 61-55. Does Tampa Bay pass them? Tampa Bay's 57-60. Baltimore's 53-63. No way Baltimore catches them. But do the Rays pass them? 3 games below 500? The Rays would have to have a surge here. But
yeah, and all first half before the All-Star break, we talked about this point in the season. How much do they have in the tank?
Yep.
Kevin Cash again. Kevin Cash is a manager who's going to say, "Hey, we're not going to allow the outside things to affect us." We knew what it was. We knew we weren't playing in our own ballpark. We knew we weren't playing inside in St. Pete at the Trop. It is what it is, and they've got grinders. But again, they're a team. Hey, Griffin Jacks, they added him, but they also subtracted. You kind of see what happens. I still can't believe they ended up with Griffin Jacks.
We're going to get to Griffin Jacks in a minute. Don't trust me. That maybe was not a great trade for them to make as of tonight's results. Okay, Phillies at Rangers. Phillies ran it up in the 9th. A 9-1 victory. They sent 8 guys to the plate, scored 5 runs in the 9th inning. Trey Turner homered there. But the story here was Christopher Sanchez. 1 run, 6 innings, 6 strikeouts versus Merrill Kelly. 4 1/3, 4 runs on 5 hits with 5 walks. Kyle Schwarber homered in the 1st, Brandon Marsh homered in the 4th. But like at a certain point, it doesn't matter if the starting pitching's that lopsided. Does it feel like tomorrow's going to be closer when you get Jesus Luzardo versus Jacob deGrom? That might be the best matchup of the day.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And DeGrom, I'm just glad that he's pitching here in August and he stayed healthy and he's taking the ball when his number's called. Sanchez I like a lot. I mean, Wheeler is Wheeler, and I give him a ton of credit for what he's done in his tenure with the Phillies. But Sanchez is just I just don't know. I want to be his cheerleader because outside of Philadelphia, I don't know a lot of people are familiar with him, and maybe they would have been more familiar if he was an NL All-Star, which he wasn't, and he should have been.
He should have been. All right, real quickly, Angels at Tigers. Breaking news, Tariq Skubal is a human being. He's not an extraterrestrial. 4 2/3, 4 earned runs, gives up 2 homers, walks 2, strikes out 6, but they get him off of the hook. They score 3 runs in the 8th and win 6-5. 23rd comeback win of the season for the Tigers. So more of that gritty Tigs thing they've been talking about since last year. Flip side, this is the 32nd blown lead of the season for the Angels. They are 6-11 in their last 17 games. All right, just a second, Steve. My Braves had to face the gauntlet that is Edward Cabrera and a 95-mile-an-hour changeup. We'll talk about that next, right here on MLB Game Night. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends and family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible because Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. They've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms apply, but again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Steve, Jeremiah Geiger from Locked On Marlins was very not happy about Atlanta winning Game 1. He's in a little better mood after the Marlins even up the series with a 5-1 win tonight.
Cabrera proves once again that the Marlins made an awesome decision by not trading him at the deadline. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. Cabrera pitched the gem. 8 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. 1 less than his career high of 12. He dominated the Braves lineup from start to finish. He's a frontline starter, he's an ace, and he's a pitcher that the Marlins can and should build around for the foreseeable future. I'm so thrilled with his development and the type of season that he's having. Coming out of nowhere. A lot of people had given up on Cabrera. He's dominant. Heriberto Hernandez, a couple of hits, including another home run. The dude just keeps on hitting. The Marlins win this game 5-1. With Cabrera's start, it was never in doubt. They even up the series, and now they got a big doubleheader tomorrow. Let's go Fish.
I just want to be that guy as this show's resident Braves expert. Don't let beating this Braves offense make you think your pitcher's an ace. I just want to throw that out there. Again, 2 hits by the Braves. Jurickson Profar gets a solo shot in the 6th. It was the most center cut of any center cut fastball you have ever seen in your life, Steve. But outside of that, they just can't do anything. Flip side, Bryce Elder, 6 innings, 5 runs. His ERA is up over 6 now. And unlike Sandy Alcantara, who pitches tomorrow, Bryce Elder's not coming off of an injury. He hasn't gone on the injured list, I don't think, in his career. He's just not that good. And that's where Atlanta is because everybody's on the injured list from their opening day rotation.
I agree with Jeremiah 100% because if you're competing as the Marlins in the next couple of years, what are you going to have to go out and add? Pitching. Well, you might have 2 solid pitchers. And, it's a big part of what they are. What are you doing in the future? Can you somehow, some way lock these guys up? And you need to show the fan base that you can do that. Mm-hmm. You've developed these guys. You've signed them. You've developed them. They're at the big league level. These are the guys who could be, even if they're not 1 and 2, if they're 2 and 3 in the future, and you maybe they've got another guy in the minor leagues. That's
Ryan Weathers is on the IL. I think Ryan Weathers could be fantastic.
Yeah, and is he on the IL because of the catcher beaning him? Was that the one? Remember that his catcher threw to second base after his warm up tosses? I'm going out there. I think that's the reason he's on the IL. I don't think it's anything arm related. I could be wrong there, but he got drilled a while ago.
He got hurt with a lat strain in the same game where that happened, but he's officially on for a lat strain. They didn't put him on the concussion IL or anything like that. So it's a lat strain, but he's expected to come back before the season ends. So we'll see how that goes. But I just think he could be a big number 3 for them there. Reds at Pirates. Pirates come back in the 8th to win this 3-2. We always love a happy Gary from Locked On Pirates. Here's his thoughts on the victory.
A beautifully pitched game between the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight at PNC Park. Mitch Keller and Chase Burns went toe-to-toe and Cincinnati was poised to take the first game that they were going to win in this series until they didn't. Hey, this is Gary from Locked On Pirates. Excited to tell you the Pirates just secured a split of this 4-game set with the Cincinnati Reds by winning Game 2 in come-from-behind fashion 3-2. Brian Reynolds with a huge double down the line. Noelvi Marte struggles to field it. I'm not sure if it caused the winning run to cross the plate in Tommy Pham, but it certainly didn't help matters. Great come-from-behind victory. Brian Reynolds was good in this game. Second straight game that he's really played good ball. Good to see. Mitch Keller was brilliant. Chase Burns was brilliant. Kyle Nicholas, some really, really good relief work. Same with Moretta. Very, very good stuff. Pirates all around just played good baseball. Cincinnati continues to see PNC Park as a house of horrors. The bats just have not come alive for Cincinnati. They were in position in this one and let it slip away. Pirates are playing spoilers. And it's fun to watch. More on this on Mondays. Locked On Pirates.
Great stat that you have on the rundown here. Pirates have allowed 2 runs or less in each of their last 11 wins. Like, it doesn't feel like it's a super sustainable blueprint, but there is a blueprint for the Pirates to win games.
Yeah, and we've had Gary all season long, and there's been ups and downs, but I really do feel like Gary's starting to look towards 2026 and saying, hey, first off, we just talked about the Marlins.
Yeah.
You're on notice, Bob Nutting. You're on notice, Ben Cherington. If you survive and you get 2026, they've got to add somehow.
Find some offense.
The Athletic did a thing on, nobody wants to go and sign with the A's the next couple of years. They're in West Sacramento. The Pirates got to show that they're willing to spend money, and they should be a 500. They should aim. I mean, with what they have, the window, it hasn't opened, but it could close awfully quick on Paul Skeens and his career in the Pirates uniform. So you really need to figure it out for 2026, and that might be spending big and spending smart too.
Find some position players that can do some stuff. Find some impact outfielders. I think there's a path there. All right, Guardians at White Sox. Guardians put up 5 runs in the first. They win this one 9-5. Tanner Bybee, 5 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. He's been struggling. It feels like he's gotten a little bit better recently. This may have been a step back. I'm trying to figure out, is this really a step back, or are the White Sox a better offense than we give them credit for? I do think they've gotten a little bit better down the stretch. CJ Kayfus is 2 for 4, 2 doubles. They called him up just recently, 3 RBI. Yep. Flip side for the White Sox, Aaron Savali, 3 1/3, 9 runs on 8 hits. Just nightmare outing there. They get a home run from Brooks Baldwin. It's just not enough. They go 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position and leave 9 on base. And that's the thing I feel like we both harp on a lot on this show. You got to take advantage of your opportunity.
Yeah. And I was watching the Mets Brewers on SNY, and they were talking about Savali getting traded. He wanted out of Milwaukee. How's he feeling right now? And in that
he didn't want to go to the bullpen in Milwaukee. You're starting.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You're starting for the White Sox, and you're getting blown up by the Guardians.
Right. Yeah. And to your point on the White Sox offense, it's better. It's you could still pitch to the lineup, and they're young, so they're going to be inconsistent. They're not going to move runners. They're not going to do the things that the Brewers excel at with their offense this season. But they're going to learn how to do it, and they're learning how to do it at the big league level.
You mentioned Griffin Jackson a minute ago. He played a big role in the Rays visiting the Mariners. Mariners rallied late for a 3-2 victory, and they did this against Griffin Jacks. Here's Ty Dane Gonzalez from Locked On Mariners about the victory.
Jacks learned a valuable lesson the hard way tonight. You cannot throw those there to Cal Raleigh. This is Ty Dane Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast here. Obviously, Cal has been a rough watch lately. He was a rough watch tonight, even before the 8th inning. He has strikeout, a couple pop-ups, and foul territory. He has really struggled to get to a lot of pitches at or around the belt for a while now. But if you throw him a sweeper at the knees, pretty much on top of the plate, he is going to deposit that thing into outer space. And that is exactly what he did tonight against Griffin Jacks in the 8th inning of this 3-2 victory for the Mariners over the Rays. A 3-run bomb from Raleigh in the bottom of the 8th. Just one swing of the bat is all it takes to erase an otherwise lethargic night for this Mariners offense. And that is thanks in large part to Luis Castillo, who I'd be remiss not to mention here. He is the real hero of this game for the Mariners, if we're being honest. Cal is obviously going to get the flowers for hitting the game-winning bomb, but without Luis Castillo, I don't know where the Mariners would have been tonight. He gave them everything they could have possibly asked for and then some after having to cover 6 innings out of the bullpen yesterday against the White Sox. He goes 7 innings while giving up just 2 runs, really saves this bullpen for the rest of the weekend. Luis Castillo was fantastic tonight. And again, we might be singing a different tune had he not been able to do that. So big shout out to Luis Castillo. Big shout out to the big dumper himself. The Mariners are off to a nice start here in this series against the Tampa Bay Rays.
Going to the flip side of this, I do want to shout out Junior Caminero. 2 for 4 with a homer, his 31st of the year. And he's going to be a 40 homer guy. He could be this year. And he's like 22 years old? It's nuts.
Yeah. Few and far between you mention Wander Franco anymore, but you just imagine what could have been. Because again, identifying these guys, signing them, developing them, and contributing at the big league level. Franco, we don't need to go into, but Caminero, I love him. Just a young guy, but such a presence in that box. And when he steps in, you're just thinking this guy, he can stay within himself, put a single back through the middle of the diamond, double, but he can also go deep. And he's done it time and time again for the Rays this year. But Ty Dane Gonzalez on Luis Castillo, there's an awareness there of understanding what happened, with the bullpen being taxed the game before, and he went out there, no walks over 7 innings. I love that because he took the pressure off the manager. He took the pressure off the bullpen, just 2 innings out of the bullpen. That's fantastic.
Yeah. We had something similar in the Braves game. I pointed out in the postcast. They have a doubleheader tomorrow. Dylan Dodd came out of the pen and covered the last 3 innings. Just kept going back out and kept going back out. And it's like, save the pen for a doubleheader tomorrow because the extra guy they're calling up is a starter. So, there you go. All right, real quickly, Royals at Twins. Twins put up a ton of runs in this one, 9-4. They scored early. They scored often. Matt Wallner, 2 for 5 with a homer and a double. Ryan Jeffers had 3 hits. Royce Lewis, Cody Clemens, Luke Keyshaw all had 2 hits and 2 RBI. Flip side of this, for the Kansas City, Mike Yastrzemski had a leadoff homer on the 3rd pitch of the game. And then outside of that, John Rave, Kyle Isbell, 2 for 4 in a run from the bottom of the order. But just the Kansas City's offense was Kansas City's offense again in this one. In just a second, I want to hear about your Red Sox. You guys took it to the Padres 10-2. We'll talk about that next right here on MLB Game Night. This episode's brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason's already heating up, and college football isn't far behind. It's the perfect time to lock in your season-long, more or less picks for the 2025 football season, all before Week 1 kicks off. Whether you've got your eye on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in the game. I've used Prize Picks for a few seasons now. I love how simple it is. I can get a daily lineup in on Sunday morning before my coffee finishes brewing. I can do a last-minute lineup if I hear about some significant injury that I think could change somebody else's performance. And the flex play option's a total game changer. Even when one of your picks misses, you can still double your money. So download the Prize Pick app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks. Welcome back to MLB Game Night. Lindsey Crosby, Steve Lennings. We've got about 4 minutes for about 5 games. Tell me, what was the big difference maker in the Sox taking down the Padres 10-2 in San Diego?
Well, Walker Buehler got the best of Zach Wheeler a few starts ago in Philadelphia against the Phillies. He got the better of a familiar face for the Red Sox, Nick Pivetta, on Friday night. Buehler, 6 scoreless innings, staked to a 4-0 lead as they got 4 runs in the 4th inning. Wilyer Abreu made it a 4-0 game with a 2-run home run. And then Connor Wong, 8th inning, adding on.
Yes.
3-run double for Connor Wong, up there attacking the first pitch. Broken 0 for 30 at the plate with runners in scoring position. On the season, 0 for 30, had not come through at all. So came through in a big way there with Carlos Narvaez, the top catcher right now, dealing with a little bit of a knee issue. So you got Wong, you got Buehler with 6 scoreless, then you got Masa Yoshida hitting a home run and knocking in 3 as well. So the Red Sox back in the win column. They've now won 8 of their last 9. And they take game 1 of the series. They've got Giolito and Bayo over the next 2, and they, I think, really do have the advantage on the starting pitching side against King and Cease over the next 2 games.
Only 3 back of the Blue Jays. Gonna throw it out there. Yeah, Michael King returns tomorrow against Lucas Giolito. I'll take Athletics at Orioles. Orioles win this one 3-2. Tomoyuki Sugano, 4 strikeouts across 7 innings, only 1 run on 5 hits. Adley Rutschman had a 2-out homer in the first, scored 2 runs there. Only his 9th of the year. But Rutschman and Ryan Mountcastle went back-to-back. Ryan Mountcastle's first game back off the IL as well. Jackson Holliday and Jordan Westberg combined to go 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts. Never something you'd love to see there. But the A's right now, just dreadful. 5 of their last 7 have been losses. They're 2-2 on the current road trip. They got 2 more in Baltimore before they can make it back home.
Diamondbacks take care of business, win 6-1 over the Rockies. 85th loss on the season for Colorado. Zach Gallen, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Did walk 3, struck out 6. Blaze Alexander, homering, knocking in 4. Corbin Carroll, 1 for 4, home run, 2 runs knocked in. And Colorado just 6 base hits. Warming Bernabel, double. Kyle Karros, debut in the big league, 1 for 3, and a run batted in as well for Colorado.
I watched him in the regionals in Auburn when he was at UCLA. Great kid. All right, Blue Jays at Dodgers. This was Scherzer versus Kershaw. Kershaw got the better here. Dodgers win 5-1. Kershaw 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, 1 walk to 4 strikeouts. Got bailed out thanks to 3 double plays. And almost all of the offense, Ohtani and Betts. Ohtani's 3 for 5, double and 2 runs scored. Betts is 2 for 4, a homer, 3 RBI, 2 runs. Only 2 other hits recorded from the other 7 guys. When you have Ohtani and Betts, that's sometimes all you need. Tomorrow, Chris Bassett versus Blake Snell in that matchup.
Final game of the night, Lindsay. Nationals, Giants in San Fran. Giants take it 5-0 as they pick up the victory. Jonah Tang, sort of the bulk guy, you can say. 5 innings, got the job done. No earned runs, struck out 4. Matt Gage was the opener for the Giants. Rafael Devers homered, so did Casey Schmidt. Jake Irvin on the other side for the Nationals. 5 innings, 4 runs, 3 earned. Walked no one, struck out 3. Washington, offense just anemic. 4 hits total, 3 singles. James Wood had the 1 extra base hit. He had a 2-bagger, a double, in the loss for the Nats.
And a very feudal-sounding matchup tomorrow, Lord versus Wisenhunt. Brad Lord versus Carson Wisenhunt, throwing back to the old times. This has been MLB Game Night for Friday, August 8th. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell because MLB Game Night is every single game, every single night. For Steve Lennox, I'm Lindsey Crosby. This has been MLB Game Night.